Hello everybody, in today's lab we are going to learn about combinational circuit design using decoders and multiplexers implemented in Xilinx. Okay, one new concept which I am going to introduce in this lab is conditional statement. Okay, let's take the first example. Here we are going to design a decoder. So this is not using a conditional statement, but I'm just introducing a decoder, how it is going to be implemented in Verilog. Right, this we studied in the theory classes, that this is how a decoder looks like. Right, you have three inputs, A0, A1 and A2. Depending on the input combinations, one of the lines will go high, so it is active high decoder. Right, so if you have 0 0 0, you will have all these outputs of the inverters as high, so Z0 will go high. Similarly, if you have all 1 1 1, you will find 1 1 1 here, Z7 will go high. So in between also, whatever is the input combinations, only one line would go high and the others will remain 0. So if you straight away map this into a decoder in Verilog A code, and what we can do is, we are taking ABC as the three inputs and D0 to D7 as the 8 outputs, right? And then you have input ABC and output as D0 to D7. So we can simply assign each D0 to D7 with a Boolean expression. Right, this is the first one is D0 is not A, not B, not C. Similarly, D7 is A and B and C. Right, so this is straight away one-to-one mapping. So this is how we do it for implementing a module in Verilog A, decoder module in Verilog A. Okay, here I'm going to introduce you to an if statement in Verilog. Right, so the syntax is like this: if S select is equal to 1, F is equal to A, else F is equal to B. So this is the conditional statement, that if the select is 1, then F is equal to A. If select is, since this is going to be a binary, so if select is 0, F is equal to B. So I have given one more example. If you have multiple ifs, how we can do, we can use else if. Okay, now we are assuming X is a output of a decoder. Okay, we are not designed a decoder. I'm just to explain you the functioning of if else. I have taken this. X is an output of a decoder, and based on that you can make any arbitrary function and a Y. Okay, now here we are writing if X 3 equal to 1, that is the from the decoder, if the MSB, if the X is an 4-bit decoder. Okay, output are 4 bits. Select lines will be so if you see, it is 1 bit 1. Like if X3 is 1, then the output is, right, this is the output of a decoder. There are 4 output lines. Okay, so if the MSB is 1, right, then the output you have defined some function. Okay, this could be anything depending on your this is just an example. And if X is equal to 2, that is the second most MSB is 1, then there is some condition. If the from the second one, from the LSB side is 1, then Y is some value. And if all the 3 are not there, then obviously that means if LSB is 1, if the LSB is 1, then the output function is there. Okay, so here in we are assuming it actually with the 4-bit there are 16 possible outputs available, but since this is an decoder output, there are only 4 possible combinations are possible, right, in the values of X. So this is how we use else if statements. Okay, this is just an arbitrary example to tell you how if, else if and else statements can be together used for generating various conditions. Okay, so this is the syntax. So I just wanted to explain the syntax out here. Okay, this is the decoder module implemented with an if statement. So if you see, input is 2 0, that means we have got 3-bit data input, that is ABC, which is the control lines, and output is an 8-bit data 7 0. So you are taking the first bit in. Okay, you are writing assign out. Okay, and then you are giving all the conditions out here. So assign out, assign out means out will be what, depending on this condition. If it meets this condition, that is if it is A000, then the output is 8-bit 001. That means the topmost line, that is out 0. Okay, out 0 is going to be 1. Okay, so that is the LSB of out is going to be 1, rest of all are going to be 0. Similarly, if this condition is met, that is 3B00 win, that means the control line what we are giving, okay, that is going to be in, that the in, which is the select line or the control line, whatever you call it. So if you give it as 1, the next line will be going high. So this is how, if you see, this is an if condition is been used to get the desired output of the decoder. Okay, now why do I write this 8H0000H? This is a default value where all the lines would go 0 in case all these conditions are not met. Now you would say, sir, all these conditions are already been catered for, right, in the input side, then why do you have to give this default conditions? Even if you don't give this, it would work fine, but it is always, when you do a coding, it is always better to have a default conditions. So in case say there is an there is some input which in some circuits which is not expected, but then it will still come, right? So it might happen, like if it, suppose it is a BCD, you are making BCD to some converter, so you are not expecting anything, any number greater than 9 here, but for some reason, maybe there is a fault in the previous stage, some number is coming, right, which is greater than 9, then what should be the output in that case? So you can write these conditions. So this will help in debugging the faults later on in the circuits. So it is a good habit for programmers to insert an default state, because later on it becomes a tool for debugging, right? So that is the reason. Say if this line is broken, okay, during manufacturing in IC, when you do the IC testing, if this you are giving this input but you are not getting the desired output, right? So in case you have an default condition, we know if 0000 is coming, that means this input has not reached there. So that is the importance of this default conditions. So you make it a habit to always have default conditions when you are using if statements. That is at your level, at make programming level, it may not make any difference, but where if you are going an actual industry level work, then these are important for fault identification and testing. Okay, so once we have done with the decoder, what this is going to be your problem, you got to design an odd parity generator using a decoder. Okay, so don't modify this code, okay, to get an parity generator. I want you to first make a decoder, ensure that it is working, and use the decoder as an Verilog module. Okay, this N is erroneously written here. Use the decoder as an Verilog module and then make an odd parity generator using that. Okay, so the next thing which we are going to learn today is multiplexer. So we know how a multiplexer looks like, right? If you have, you have the select lines. If you have 00, A0 will be routed to Y. If you have 01, A1 will be routed to Y. For an 10, A2 will be routed to Y, and for A3 the next one will be routed there. So you have 4 different inputs and 2 select lines. One of the input lines will be routed to Y. So this is straight away writing a code for this direct implementation of these things. So you can go through this. I think it's not very difficult to understand. So you can go through this code and try to understand. This is what is the direct implementation of this. Okay, so I'll upload this manual also in the lab. So in case any doubt, you could call me up. But it is a simple direct implementation of this gate. Okay, now but what you are going to do for your lab exercise is you are going to make a MUX module, and very simple. Okay, this is the simplest way a MUX can be implemented. It says input is 8-bit and select line is 3-bit, right? So you're simply assigning Y as IS. IS means the bit for I will be decided by S. So if S is equal to 0, obviously I 0. So the first one will be routed to y, as simple as that. Okay, I0 will be routed as that. If s is equal to 1, right, obviously this will become 1, so this will get routed directly there. So it is the simplest way a multiplexer can be implemented. So you are going to use this multiplexer module and design. In the next you are going to use a full adder using this mux. Okay, so this is going to be an instance for this full adder, so you are going to use this full adder. Okay, so here let me give you some hints here, right? First of all, if you see in this mux, I is an 7-bit 8-bit data, s is going to be a 3-bit data, and y is going to be a 1-bit data. So when you are writing here sum, you are making a full adder. You are taking a, b, c and sum. So sum is going to be a 1-bit data, so that is not a problem, because here also output is y, so y and sum, they are 1-bit data each. That doesn't matter. Now coming to the here in between, right, if you see in the mux, this is a 3s, the middle data is s, which was the control line, which was a 3-bit. Now in our case, the control line is going to be abc, whereas in this module I have taken abc3 as an individual bit. Okay, so I need to do concatenation of abc here. Okay, so if you write just s is comma 8 comma b comma c, it wouldn't work. Okay, because this module is expecting a 3-bit data in between, right? So whereas here I am taking 3 individual bits, so you have to use this concatenation operator to get the sum. Okay, now the first bit, which is it is the it's again an because input is an 8-bit data, right? I can give an here and information s as an 8-bit. Okay, so I have taken a wire s as an 7-bit 8-bit wire, right? Now this I have just put it in red because this will change depending on what output you require. Okay, so for sum you might require, instead of 8, I have just written 8 will not give you a sum. Okay, I have just put some 8, so you have to think what should be the value of s to get some output for these combinations. So this 8 will change, okay, to some other value depending on the function which we want to implement. Similarly, you will have to generate a carry also, right? So this is the problem statement, right? I am not going to do detailed demonstration now, because by now you have done adequate experiments on Verilog. I am just defining you the problem, and we have learnt about multiplexers and full adders. I am sure a little bit of thinking is required, and you will be able to do all these things. So you will generate sum and carry. Okay, so this 8 you need to change with some other value. Okay, so depending on the function which you have to implement. Okay, now these are some home assignment also you can do. So home assignment, okay, we did with mux we are doing sum and carry, but for your home assignment you could also check whether you have understood properly by generating a parity generator with mux. Similarly, in the decoder we have done with a parity generator. For your home assignment you can make a full adder out of an decoder. So please do these 2 experiments. You don't have to show the home assignments to your instructors. You got to show the parity generator with decoder and mux with full adder. Okay, that's all the best.